What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be reviewing Clash in Italy 2026. Giving my results on the matches, the results, and what they could possibly do in the future. Let's get into it. First match on the card was Cody Rhodes and Gunther for the WWE Championship. I think this was a solid match. It only got like 11 minutes, which I thought was pretty interesting for a Cody Rhodes or even a Gunther match. That it only getting that little time is kind of interesting. I understand it was the opener, so it's not going to get 30 minutes, but like I can't really remember much that happened from this. It was solid. It was fine. Main thing I want to talk about, the ending. Basically, Cody Rhodes hit the Cody Cutter on Gunther. Cody hit a Crossroads, and they kind of set it up like they were gonna do do a rope break spot because Gunther was just like right next to the rope basically. Cody Rhodes covered him, and they just did 1, 2, 3. But Gunther's foot was under the bottom rope, so it was technically a rope break, but the referee didn't see it. So basically, what I said in my prediction was correct, where Gunther was gonna lose, but it was gonna be in kind of like a BS type of way. So I was right about that. It did feel incredibly anticlimactic, though. They just, like, it kind of looked like he kicked out, but he also kind of looked like he was, like I said, he was doing a rope break, so it was kind of weird that he just beat him, and it was like, oh, okay, cool. That's interesting. Some people complaining that it was kind of just a lame finish, and I kind of agree in the aspect of this entire thing is just setting up for Cody Gunther 2, just waiting for Randy Orton to come back. I assume that's what they're doing here. I do appreciate, though, that it wasn't just Gunther loses clean. That's probably the one thing I can say about this match that I appreciated. I mean, I'm not even the one thing I could say that I appreciated. I thought the actual match itself was solid. But if Gunther lost clean, I would have just not been happy about that. That would have been, like, that would have been stupid, genuinely. So I appreciate them for kind of having it be, like I said, in kind of a controversial way. Yeah. Overall, solid match. Finish was kind of interesting, but overall it was solid. Next match of the card was Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill for the women's championship. This match was fine. It's kind of the definition of like a 5 out of 10. Like, it wasn't anything special, but it wasn't the worst match ever. I will say this, I don't think it was better than their Mania match. I thought their Mania match was actually solid. And this kind of, it wasn't, the craziest thing ever. I thought some of the counters were solid. I think Jade has improved as a wrestler when she came in, and even, more, like, even like last year, for example, I just did not care for her in terms of her actual, like, wrestling. I just didn't think it was that great. Like, she's not, like, terrible. That's kind of that kind of showed in this match. It also showed in the Mania match, and that's kind of, if I had to compare the two matches, it's very, like, the Mania match was better. More so, also, I'll just talk about the finish basically. Rhea was doing stuff, hit a riptide on Jade. B-Fab and Michin came out. B-Fab tried to do a rope break and she completely missed. It was one of those things. But, obviously, that led to, okay, hold on. That led to a rope break, which then led to Charlotte Flair coming up, hit a crossbody on both Michin and B-Fab. And then Jade hit a Jaded on Rhea, which then led to Charlotte Flair putting Rhea's foot on the rope. So there were 2 rope breaks in the span of like a minute. This led to some other stuff happening. Rhea hit the riptide and won. Another case of just setting up to the next match, which I assume is a 3-way between Charlotte, Rhea, and Jade for the championship. I'll say this right now, this was also a very, like, predictable match. That's kind of the case with this. It was just like you kind of knew Rhea was going to win. At least with Cody and Gunther, there was like something, especially with the promo they had on SmackDown. There was something. Maybe Cody might have lost, but like this match you kind of just knew Rhea was going to win, and you're taking this match to set up another match. That's kind of the thing. I've been making videos about all the recent like shows and stuff. A lot of these in my prediction videos or my review videos, it's always this match was used to set up another match, and that's kind of still what they're doing here. This entire thing is just to kind of build up that Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Jade Cargill feud. Overall, it was fine. Next match on the card, Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. This one I can actually kind of do a play-by-play on because it was very short. Obafemi, they were doing the introductions. Brock Lesnar hit Oba with 4 F5s and he kicked out at 2. They were kind of doing stuff. Basically, I'll just talk about the ending because I have a lot more to say in terms of the result of this match, especially. Brock did a Kimura lock. I thought that was pretty interesting. I don't know if he's done that in a while. But Obafemi got offense on Brock. He took the announce table, like the cover of the announce table. He took that off. Went for like a choke slam on Brock through the announce table. Brock did an F5 into the announce table. Oba, they looked like he was kind of just laid out, and they were gonna do a count out. They were gonna tease him losing by count out. And Oba just stood back up at like the 6 count. It was pretty cool. Oba got back up, ran to the ring, hit a couple uppercuts onto Brock Lesnar. Hit like that suplex toss thing. Hit like the back suplex thing onto Brock. Where he actually got some pretty solid height on that. Went for the fall from grace, and Brock countered to hit an F5 and won. And that was just that deflated me so hard. That was just not you. More so the fact that you tease him making this insane comeback and then he just gets hit with another F5 and loses. It's like I don't know. I did not like this finish. Everyone's gonna say, "Oh, but it took him 7 F5s to win." Yeah, sure. That's probably the one good thing you can say about this result. Brock is retiring in 2 months. That's an objective thing. Brock Lesnar is going to retire at SummerSlam. By Obafemi. Why is Brock Lesnar winning any matches right now? And obviously the answer is the fact that they're doing the trilogy. They're going to have to do a third match, and Oba's going to win that. The real thing to talk about here, why is this match happening in the first place? Why did Brock not just retire at WrestleMania? Why do we have to do a third match? Why do we have to do 3 matches? I understand it's just to make Oba, he like actually beat him. But Oba actually beat him at WrestleMania, and they had the retire. If Obafemi had that thing where he just actually retired him at WrestleMania, that was perfect. That was really good. But then they realized they have nothing else to do with their hottest, youngest star, that they had to just do Brock again. And then now they're having Brock beat their youngest up-and-coming star fairly decent. Once again, Brock Lesnar is 50 years old and he's going to retire in 2 months. Why are we doing this? I'm not going to say that Obafemi is buried like a lot of people are saying. He's not buried. He'll probably come back. I'll tell you right now, though, after SummerSlam, I hope they don't go in the same direction. Because that's the thing. I saw someone mention this, too. You can't really go higher, other than championships, than beating Brock Lesnar and retiring him at Mania. So they kind of just went with the whole, open challenges thing where he beat up jobbers. But, like, do something other than, like, you had a perfect ending with the Brock Lesnar match at Mania. Find something else to do other than open challenges. I don't know. I just thought this was very, I'll say this right now, unnecessary is the word. This was just unnecessary. Next match in the card was Sol Ruca versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I thought this was solid. I think it was kind of similar to basically all the Sol Ruca matches that she's had on Raw or like a premium show. Basically just showing off her athleticism, all the cool moves she can do. Every single Becky Lynch match has to have Jessica Carr in it, which logically Why would they keep putting her in these? Why would they keep putting Jessica Carr in these matches when they know something's gonna happen with it? I don't know. But I think some of the spots were really solid. Um, that Sasuke special Sulruka tried to do, where she almost like missed it, and that was kind of interesting. I feel like she should do something different. I don't know. Putting that much risk, that's a very risky move. I don't know, but some of the counters in this were really solid. Once again, Sulruka is a really good like in ring wrestler. Becky Lynch is solid too. You kind of just it was cool. Um, this ended with Becky trying to go for her finish. I'm pretty sure, and then Soul countered it, hit a Soul Snatcher and pinned her. I am glad that Soul got this win. I will say this because I kind of talked about it in the prediction video. They haven't done much with her in terms of giving her any sort of credibility coming into this match, and it's cool that she just won the title. So now, like I said, talking about that's credibility. Having her beat one of the biggest stars in that division's history. I think that was a really solid option, honestly, especially for this specific show where like a lot of young stars kind of lost. This was cool that they just kind of did it. It's actually cool that they actually just pulled the trigger on something and just did it instantly when it made sense. It'd be cool if they learned from that. But that it actually works when they just do something instead of waiting months to do it. Anyways, this was a fairly solid match. And I think Soul winning was the correct decision. I'm a big fan of that decision. Last match on the card, Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. Another fine match. It was tribal combat. That was the whole deal. No disqualifications, no anything goes, whatever. And they kind of used that. They were fighting in the crowd a little bit. They were doing the big story with this specifically was Roman Reigns taking out Jacob's hand to where he couldn't use the Tongan Death Grip, which did work in the end, basically. The ending of this match, I'll talk about it. There were some cool spots. Roman Reigns spearing Jacob into the barricade, that was cool. Jacob hitting the spear, that was pretty cool. It was a Roman Reigns match though, and I'll talk about that when I'm just done with this because I got a lot to say about this. The result of this. Roman Reigns hits a spear into a table. Jacob just gets up and basically no-sells it. So it's like, cool, he's going to come back and do something. Just gets hit with another spear and Roman wins. And I don't know, man. I do not care about this at all. I just think, I said in the prediction video that the Usos coming in and super kicking and then, spear, that would be the most boring ending. Why, I do not care for Roman winning this at all. And why is, I'll say this or no, I said this in the video as well. Jacob Fatu is way too good to be the fourth man in the bloodline. That's what he's going to be. He's going to be the Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu are completely different. Jacob Fatu is way better than all three of the bloodline members combined. Like, that's the thing. He should be the leader of a faction. He should be the guy. He shouldn't be in a damn faction in general. He's way too good to be just another guy in a faction. And them just saying, hey, let's redo the bloodline story. Let's redo the thing that worked in the past. If I might have said this in a video. If you do things that worked in the past, they will never be as good. And especially if you're going to recreate the bloodline story, it will not be as good as it was when they did it. Because the bloodline story in 2023 and 2024, 2019, 2021, just the 2020s in general, was really good. They cannot redo that. They cannot, because it's already happened. They already did the whole storyline. Why are they redoing it, just having Jacob Fatu be in the background for all this? I already like it's just I don't know. I don't. I do not care to see the bloodline back together, and I especially do not care to see Jacob Fatu just in a random spot in that bloodline. And I understand it's probably going to lead to Jacob Fatu turning on Roman during something, and it leads to another thing. I don't know. Um, but like once again, why not just have Jacob win? It would be a way better story for him to be the tribal chief, be the head of the table, and have Roman Reigns be not the head of the table for one time. I don't know. It's just, hey, Roman's back at the top again. And the fans love it, apparently. People loved this. People were saying how great this was and how awesome it is that Roman Reigns is still the champ. I don't fucking get it. I'm sorry. I understand. To Roman Reigns fans, people, if he can kill a goddamn kid and people would still act like he's the greatest thing of all time. I get that, but like, how are y'all not bored of the same shit over and over and over again? I don't know. I might just be in the minority and I'm just some whiny bitch. I don't know. Overall, the show itself, it was fine. Like, I don't know. Like I said, this is the most like 5 out of 10 show. Honestly, I just did not. I watched it and it ended, and I was like, okay, cool, that was fine. That wasn't. I don't think it was the worst show ever. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the greatest thing ever either. Especially with what the card looked like, I feel like there was a lot left to be desired with a lot of the matches, and I also just think that most of those results were kind of weird. Like I said, Gunther losing in a very anticlimactic way, Brock winning just like in general, and Roman winning. It might have been the results that I kind of just didn't care for. I don't know. They also revealed the King and Queen of the Ring tournament brackets, and I'll probably talk about those on the Raw review because they're doing those matches on Raw. So I'll probably talk about the actual bracket itself on in some of the Raw reviews. Overall, though, what's the one I always follow? Fuck the Canes. See ya.